Do you think this is below you or something?
Man, I think I'm 45 years old polishing forks.
How do you overcome failure? For Richie, the answer is by overcompensating. We all know a Richie, the type of person who has messed up in their lives and refuses to acknowledge it. They insist they know how to do everything, never asking for help and never taking instruction. Their confidence is an armor against any recognition of failure. For them, admitting failure in the present, even a small failure, opens them up to admitting to a failure in the past. This was Richie all throughout Season 1 and the beginning of Season 2. He never took Carmi's changes well, seeing them as an admittance that the way Mikey ran things was wrong, that the way he was spending his own time in his life was wrong.
We're implementing a French brigade.
Got it. Cool. Yeah.
As the restaurant changes, Richie's inability to confront past failure puts his role and his purpose at the Bear in jeopardy. Which is why episode 7 is the best episode of season 2. It gives Richie the biggest character arc of the season, and it best illustrates the theme of overcoming failure, which is the theme of the entire season. Getting hung up on failure is a misunderstanding of time. That time in the past outweighs time in the present and future. After yet another classic Richie blow-up, Richie is sent by Carmi to stage, basically a short unpaid internship, at one of Chicago's and the world's best restaurants. Already believing he has no purpose at the Bear, Richie sees this as a way for Carmi to get him out of the way. That he's no good, he's wasted space. And his job at the 3-star Michelin restaurant only confirms this. He's polishing forks. Could there be a task any more trivial? And so he does what all Richies do. He complains and whines about his time being wasted. He treats a menial task, polishing forks, as though it has no meaning. But it's not meaningless. It's not pedantic. According to Garrett, it's about respect.
You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid, Richie. I just need you to respect me. I need you to respect the staff, I need you to respect the diners, and I need you to respect yourself.
Later, as his internship allows him to watch other positions at the restaurant, Richie sees how much the staff cares about delivering a perfect meal, even shouting about smudge marks. They aren't doing this to reaffirm their own importance. Rather, the staff agonize over every little detail on behalf of the customer. As Richie gets more involved in the tasks of the restaurant, like running to pick up a local deep dish pizza for tourists, Richie has less time to wallow in his own misery because he's too focused on helping others. Unlike his constant fights at the Bear, Richie is joking and playing games with his fellow staffers. He's relaxed, lighter. He wants to ask questions and see other people's motivations and opinions. Failure was all about him. Success is now about others. All of this culminates in his conversation with Chef Terry, the founder of the restaurant. Richie finds her doing a menial task similar to polishing forks, peeling mushrooms. Here is the most powerful, knowledgeable person in this successful restaurant choosing to do a menial task that any stage could do for her. And unlike Richie at the beginning of the episode, who saw the work as too small for his time, she welcomes it. For Terry, this task is time well spent.
Time spent doing this is time well spent.
Time well spent. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think so.
Why? Because it's something simple she can do every morning that makes a difference in a customer's experience. She views every moment as having value. And what's most shocking for Richie is that she founded this restaurant, not at her highest point, but at her lowest. Unlike Richie, her past failure didn't outweigh her future. Her story wasn't done being written. It had no bearing on the present moment. For Terry, every second counts, not just past seconds. Richie hasn't treated his time with respect because he is so busy trying to hide and overcompensate for his failures. And here lies the episode's secret ingredient. It allows Richie to fail. So many stories about failure end with rousing success, but not forks. The reason Richie's Taylor Swift-fueled car racing is so euphoric in hindsight is because the episode allows Richie to earn his change of character. Because Richie fails in this episode. He doesn't get what he wants. When his ex-wife calls telling him that she's engaged to a new man, Richie doesn't fight. He doesn't criticize the guy or argue that he's better like he would have in the past season. The man who still wears the wedding ring of an ended marriage finally accepts the failure. Why? Because he now believes his future counts just as much, if not more, than his past. Every second counts, and he can't respect that time by living in the past. In a season all about overcoming past failure, Richie is the character that overcomes this battle the best. Not by winning, no. The episode ends with a final nail driven into the coffin of his marriage. He then wants to stay a stage, but he can't. He has to return to the conflict at the Bear. He fails, and he fails, and he fails. And yet, he wins because his whole view of time has changed. That is how you overcome failure. You treat every moment as having unlimited potential. You throw yourself so far into the present moment that you have no time to dwell on past mistakes. And what better way to spend your time than serving someone a great meal? Eating forces you to be present. Making a meal forces you to put others first. There's no room to get caught up in your own ego or failure when you prioritize those things. Accepting failure is the greatest kindness you can give yourself. It means you believe you have a future in which to do it right, because every second counts.